Simurgh, also spelled simorgh, simurgh, simorgh, is an Iranian benevolent, mythical flying creature. It is sometimes equated with other mythological birds such as a griffin or phoenix, Persian Homā. The figure can be found in all periods of Greater Iranian art and literature and is also evident in the iconography of Georgia, medieval Armenia, the Byzantine Empire, and other regions that were within the realm of Persian cultural influence. The name Simurgh derives from Middle Persian Pahlavi sēnmurv, also attested in Middle Persian Pāzand as sīna-mrū. The Middle Persian term derives in turn from Avestan mirgama osano, the bird sīna, originally a raptor, likely an eagle, falcon, or sparrowhawk, as can be deduced from the etymological cognate Sanskrit sīna that also appears as a divine figure. Shaahin is also a personal name, which is root of the name. The word was also borrowed into Armenian as sīra-mrū, peacock. The most prestigious award given by Fajr International Film Festival, Iran's major annual film festival, is called the Crystal Simurgh, after the mythical creature. Mythology, form and function. The simurgh is depicted in Iranian art as a winged creature in the shape of a bird, gigantic enough to carry off an elephant or a whale. It appears as a peacock with the head of a dog and the claws of a lion, sometimes, however, also with a human face. The simurgh is inherently benevolent and unambiguously female. Being part mammal, she suckles her young. The simurgh has teeth. It has an enmity towards snakes, and its natural habitat is a place with plenty of water. Its feathers are said to be the color of copper, and though it was originally described as being a dog bird, later it was shown with either the head of a man or a dog. See, the first element in the name has been connected in folk etymology to modern Persian C, although this prefix is not historically related to the origin of the name Simurgh. 30 has nonetheless been the basis for legends incorporating that number. For instance, that the simurgh was as large as 30 birds or had 30 colors. Other suggested etymologies include Pahlavi sīnmurv and Avestan sīna-mrū. Iranian legends consider the bird so old that it had seen the destruction of the world 3 times over. The simurgh learned so much by living so long that it is thought to possess the knowledge of all the ages. In one legend, the simurgh was said to live 1,700 years before plunging itself into flames. The simurgh was considered to purify the land and waters and hence bestow fertility. A creature represented the union between the earth and the sky, serving as mediator and messenger between the two. The simurgh roosted in Geyukarina, the home tree of life, which stands in the middle of the world. See, the plant is potent medicine and is called all-healing, and the seeds of all plants are deposited on it. When the simurgh took flight, the leaves of the tree of life shook, making all the seeds of every plant fall out. These seeds floated around the world on the winds of Vayu-Vata and the rains of Tishtria, in cosmology taking root to become every type of plant that ever lived and curing all the illnesses of mankind. The relationship between the simurgh and Homā is extremely close. Like the simurgh, Homā is represented as a bird, a messenger, and the essence of purity that can heal any illness or wound. Homā, appointed as the first priest, is the essence of divinity, a property it shares with the simurgh. The Homā is in addition the vehicle of Pharaoh. Pharaoh in turn represents the divine mandate that was the foundation of a king's authority. It appears as a bird resting on the head or shoulder of would-be kings and clerics, indicating almost acceptance of that individual as his divine representative on earth. For the commoner, Bahram wraps fortune, glory around the house of the worshipper, for wealth in cattle, like the great bird Shaahin, and as the watery clouds cover the great mountains. like the sīmurgh, is also associated with the waters of Urukasha. In Yas 12.17, Simorgh's tree stands in the middle of the sea of Urukasha. It has good and potent medicine and is called all-healing, and the seeds of all plants are deposited on it. In the Shāhnāmā, the simurgh made its most famous appearance in the Ferdowsi's epic Shāhnāmā, where its involvement with the Prince Zal is described. According to the Shāhnāmā, Zal, the son of Sāhm, was born albino. When Sāhm saw his albino son, he assumed that the child was the spawn of devils, and abandoned the infant on the mountain Alborz. The child's cries were heard by the tender-hearted simurgh, who lived atop this peak, and she retrieved the child and raised him as her own. Zal was taught much wisdom from the loving simurgh, who has all knowledge. But the time came when he grew into a man and yearned to rejoin the world of men. Though the simurgh was terribly saddened, she gave him 3 golden feathers which he was to burn if he ever needed her assistance. Upon returning to his kingdom, Zal fell in love and married the beautiful Rudaba. When it came time for the son to be born, the labor was prolonged and terrible. Zal was certain that his wife would die in labor. Rudaba was near death when Zal decided to summon the simurgh. The simurgh appeared and instructed him upon how to perform a Caesarean section, thus saving Rudaba and the child, who became one of the greatest Persian heroes, Rostam. Simurgh also shows up in the story of the 7 trials of Esfandiar and the story of Rostam and Esfandiar. In Azerbaijani folklore, Simurgh also goes by the name of Zumrud. In an ancient tale about Malik Mamud, the son of one of the wealthiest kings of Azerbaijan, that king had a big garden. In the center of this garden was a magical apple tree that yielded apples every day. An ugly giant named Div stole all the apples every night. The king sent Malik Mamud and his elder brothers to fight the giant. In the course of this tale, Malik Mamud saves Simurgh's babies from a dragon. In return, Simurgh resolved to help Malik Mamud. When Malik Mamud wanted to pass from the dark world into the light world, Simurgh asked him to provide 40 half-carcasses of meat and 40 wine skins filled with water. When Simurgh put the water on its left wing and the meat on its right wing, Malik Mamud was able to enter the light world. In Sufi poetry, in classical and modern Persian literature, the simorgh is frequently mentioned, particularly as a metaphor for God in Sufi mysticism. In the 12th century Conference of the Birds, Iranian Sufi poet Farid-ud-Din Attar wrote of a band of pilgrim birds in search of the simurgh. In the poem, the birds of the world gather to decide who is to be the king, as they have none. The hoopoe, the wisest of them all, suggests that they should find the legendary simorgh, a mythical Persian bird roughly equivalent to the western phoenix. The hoopoe leads the birds, each of whom represent a human fault which prevents man from attaining enlightenment. When the group of 30 birds finally reach the dwelling place of the simorgh, all they find is a lake in which they see their own reflection. Through cultural assimilation, the simurgh was introduced to the Arabic-speaking world, where the concept was conflated with other Arabic mythical birds such as the gonus, a bird having some mythical relation with the date palm, and further developed as the ruck. In Kurdish folklore, simurgh is shortened to samir in the Kurdish language. The scholar Trevor quotes 2 Kurdish folktales about the bird. These versions go back to the common stock of Iranian simorgh stories. In one of the folk tales, a hero rescues Simurgh's offspring by killing a snake that was crawling up the tree to feed upon them. As a reward, the simurgh gives him 3 of her feathers which the hero can use to call for her help by burning them. Later, the hero uses the feathers, and the simurgh carries him to a distant land. In the other tale, the simurgh carries the hero out of the netherworld. Here, the simurgh feeds its young with its teats, a trait which agrees with the description of the simurgh in the Middle Persian book of Zadspram. In another tale, simurgh feeds the hero on the journey while the hero feeds simurgh with pieces of sheep's fat. Gallery.